Hey, it's Brandon Wright, Right Stuff Media. So today I'm going to talk about finding financing. All right, and this is one of those things that if you're an entrepreneur, you would think that we're always solving problems, we're overcoming struggles, and you would think this would be one of those things that would be easy for us, but it's not. So I've been covering with you the process that I've been going through of buying a business, right? I'm supposed to close January 2nd on buying a small business, and really trying to tell you what it is that I've been going through, the different steps and stages. And I've kind of condensed this whole week into what I've been going through for the last 2 months. And so we covered through identifying a business that you want to buy, interviewing the owner, which is the seller, finding out if the business is right for you, doing your due diligence and looking at the financials and the tax returns, making sure that this company makes money. And now that the company's made money, we've made an offer to buy it. And that's called the letter of intent. So now that the letter of intent is there, it's been signed by the buyer, which is me, and signed by the seller. Now it's time to start looking at financing. And one of the things that I've always used financing for is if I needed to buy a vehicle, if I needed to do some sort of capital investment into my business. I always relied upon a bank, and I never really thought about buying a business until I sold my business. And when the buyer of my business, he came in with 10% and went through the SBA loan process, it really opened up my eyes to how easy you could get into an existing business that's already performed, right? They've already been out there. They've already made a name for themselves. They built a place for them in the marketplace. And if you're looking at buying them, of course, they got to be profitable. So they're already making money so that when you buy it, you're going to get a return on your investment. And so it was interesting to me that if you can go in with an SBA loan for 10% down, let's say that you buy a business that's selling for $1 million, you only need to come up with $100,000. And that really looked at my business and said, gosh, if I didn't start from scratch and if I just bought somebody else, or if I bought competitors along the way, I could have grown a lot faster for a minimal cost. Because when you buy a business, the seller has to pay off all the assets. So you're not going to have any loans except for the one loan to whoever's financing your deal. And that's a pretty cool deal for me because I thought, wow, if I can do that, that's an easier way to get into business and avoid all those startup years. And if you've been through a startup, you know what I'm talking about. So here's your different options. I went to a bank and I wanted to get a commercial loan. I did not want to go through the SBA process. And I think the reason for not going the SBA process, now understand, my view is very limited. I don't know all the bells and whistles of an SBA loan. I really rely upon other people and the experts in their trade to make my own decision. So I'm just going to tell you my experience. Is the SBA puts a lot of guidelines on how you need to operate your business. It's a lot more paperwork, and the time frame for closing takes a lot longer. And so my goal was to go out to 5 different banks, present them with, this is what I want to buy, and I provided a packet for them. And here's something a little bit different that I haven't seen before that I did was I wrote out, this is the company I'm buying, and this is the opportunity. This is what I see that I can buy it at this amount, and I can double, triple, quadruple the business because this is the great opportunity that it is. And so I laid out a vision of what I foresee myself doing with this company. And then I provided them 3 years of projections. This is what the company does, right? This is what their financials state. and then this is what I project in the next 3 years of what I can do. And I just put a 15% increase that I thought was easily achievable for each year in revenue. And then I had to put in other things like a bank loan. I had to put in marketing of how I was going to put a marketing strategy in place. And so I added some more things to the profit and loss projections that the original company didn't have. But overall, I came up with projections that I felt comfortable with that were true and accurate. And I think that's one of the things is you got to make sure that you don't just put numbers in there to make it look good, because a smart person who knows how to read financials is going to be able to see through it. So I had 3 years projections. I put in my personal taxes for the last 3 years, and there's a whole bunch of paperwork that the bank requests. So I called 5 different banks. Now, one of the banks told me that I wasn't in this industry, and because I wasn't in this industry, that they would not be interested in me. And to me, that makes no sense at all, right? I mean, would you want a tradesperson to go into a business that's never owned a business? Would you feel more comfortable with that? Or would you feel more comfortable with someone who's had experience owning, selling a business and had success? But my opinion doesn't matter. That's the way they're set up. And so that bank, we just took off the list. Now, another bank said that buying a business is classified the same as a startup. And so there's a lot of documentation that they require. And that didn't make sense to me either, because an existing business that has years and years of financials that's proven that why they're in business, why they're profitable, and why they're at the point now that they're going to sell, that is not a startup. So I didn't agree with that either. But again, that's that bank and that's their philosophy. My opinion doesn't matter. So another bank, 2 of them, said, Brandon, we can do the deal, but we have to go SBA. Well, that's not what I wanted. So I went to my existing bank, and of course, Lyle Cook, Mountain West Bank, he's been a great banker for me. He knows financials. He doesn't always give me what I want, but Lyle knows how to position the paperwork. Lyle knows how to make sure that the company actually makes money. Because here's what the bank's looking for. 3 different things. Is that they want to make sure that with the cash flow of the company, that the loan can be paid for. So that's number 1. The second thing is they want a 1-to-1 collateral for assets. So that means that you got to have, if you're asking for, let's say $500,000, you have to have a 1-to-1 ratio of $500,000 in assets that you will put as collateral as if the business would fail. And so that 1-to-1, I had to put my house on collateral, my vehicles, and the assets of the company. So the assets of your company that you're buying may or may not reach that collateral, and most likely it won't. So you're going to have some personal skin in the game. So that 1-to-1 ratio. And then here's a third thing. The third thing is your experience. And this is where I've owned a business. I've had to downsize a business. I grew a business. I rebuilt a business. And then I sold it at its peak. That's the experience and the character of who it is that I am that helped close that deal with Mountain West. So after going through 5 banks, I really only had one that would give me what I wanted, and that was the bank that I bank with. And so I guess that teaches me that your relationship with your banker and who you are with right now, that is your best option when you want to do something. And so now as we're going through this loan process, the letter of intent's been signed. We have financing in place. Now the last step is working out the sales agreement with the attorney. And so I'll share that with you next week. I hope you enjoy the weekend. And we've been adding some articles over to our website, rightstuffmedia.com. I got a great team. John Guanci, a business coach from Boston. Justin Foster, marketing and brand specialist from Austin, Texas. David McCauley, who works with teams and also does sales training and team building. they're sharing their thoughts and their views over on our website, rightstuffmedia.com. That's with a W. And read those articles, watch our videos. So we got some great content other than just this Facebook Live. And again, Jesse, thanks for watching today. And I appreciate you guys and all that you do. And keep working that small business, because that is what gives us meaning in the life that we have today. And we can make a difference in our small business. We'll catch you next week.